Welcome to Corcovado National Park in Costa Rica. One of the most biodiverse places on Earth and pretty much a dream playground for nature nerds with a camera. In just 2 days, I got to film tapir, anteaters, humpback whales, sloth, wildest, Caiman crocodile, and spider monkeys flying around in a canopy. So grab your coffee and come along through my lens on what turned into one of the wildest wildlife experiences of my life.
It's 4:15 in the morning in the beautiful Corcovado here in Costa Rica. And I'm super excited to go on this jungle expedition. It's early and we're gonna have some breakfast first. And I'm super excited for a lot of animals to come, hopefully. We're looking into a rainy day, but we have some rain clothes as well. But I mean, it's a rainforest, right? So let's see. It's close to sunrise at 5:25. Yeah, it's now. Really beautiful. We've been driving to a harbor where we're gonna board a little boat that's gonna take us 1.5 hours into central part of the jungle. The water is still, so hopefully it's gonna be an easy ride.
I grew up in Denmark, surrounded by nature, always seeking wild places and animals. For me, nature has always been almost sacred. Like what I imagine people feel stepping into a temple. It's something you feel deep inside your bones. So watching this humpback whale and her calf, I felt so humbled to get to experience them. Like they waved us into Corcovado. What a welcome. The sea got rougher and the rain gave us a good short shower. We arrived at the mouth of Rio Sirena and walked ashore. It felt very much like the start of a true jungle adventure.
This is where the jungle meets the ocean. Now we're going to go in, follow the guide to the station, and then from there we'll start the hikes.
We walked up to Sirena Ranger Station, which would be our base for the next couple of days, and pretty much dropped our bags and headed straight out onto our first walk. We were split into smaller groups, and I got to follow Esteban and Sean, our guides for this jungle adventure. Almost the moment we stepped into the forest, we saw our first wildlife. A Tamandua anteater. It was climbing through the branches, using its strong claws and tail to move around while searching for ants. It was so cool to realize that I was actually visiting its home. With that long, sticky tongue made for raiding nests and its mostly nocturnal, solitary life, it felt like spotting one of the rainforest's secret residents. Along the trail, signs reminded us of the park's strict rules that put nature first. We also passed small details, cop fungi growing on fallen logs and tiny ants living in symbiosis with plants, showing how closely everything is connected.
So here in Costa Rica, everything is bigger, like everything. And these branches going up here, this one is so thick, like definitely for, monkey climbing up.
Esteban stopped by a big metabolo tree, a strangler fig, and started looking for bats.
What looks like the roots of this tree is actually the roots of the jaguars that grow around other trees. And then, especially this one, is completely choked.
This tree grows in a way most people find brutal, but I find it very fascinating. It starts life high up in another tree, then send roots down. Over time, those roots fuse into a cage, stealing light and nutrition until the original tree dies, and the fig is left standing on its own.
And on the top, we've seen spider monkeys jumping around, and right now they were eating fruits that you threw in our heads. You can see it. Small banditas. trying to hit us with fruit. Oh, she's super sweet. I think there was a mom and a baby. It's the groups getting informed. We get so much information on this trip. It's really amazing.
Then Sean told us to look up, and there it was, a 3-toed sloth in the branches above our heads. It barely moved, which makes sense when it can take up to a month to digest a single leaf. I think there's something to learn from that slowness. It knows how to exist in harmony with what the forest gives without taking more than it needs. A bit further down the trail, we found a blue-crowned mudmot on the ground, just as it caught a tiny crab in its beak. Not long after, a small group of great curassows wandered across the forest floor, both males and females, easy to tell apart by their different colors. Deeper in the shadows, we spotted red-brocked deer with a youngster trotting behind, quietly feeding on green fruits and almost disappearing into the dark undergrowth. High above, spider monkeys were moving through the canopy like acrobats, using hands, feet, and tail to climb and search for food. It was hard not to be impressed by how effortlessly they moved from branch to branch. And looking at them, I realized we share so much with them. Seeing them in the wild made my own human body seem so clumsy.
On this weekend, we are with the Circus Tours, which is an amazing company arranging these trips in Corcovado. And we're so fortunate to have two super friendly and really wise guides with us. One of them here, Sean. So nice. So after our first walk, we got to see a ton of animals already. It was quite amazing. So I'm excited for this afternoon trip here, what we're gonna find.
On our way back to the ranger station, it started to rain.
Hello. So that was walk number 1, and we had some lunch. Now it's siesta time, a bit of snackies and some coffee. 1 hour, we're going for a walk again.
But as I couldn't sleep, I had a coffee, enjoyed the silence, and found this beautiful big spider. It sat between the corridors of the station and have just caught an insect. Golden silk orb weavers inject venoms to immobilize prey, then vomit digestive fluids into the insect. Those enzymes breaks it down into kind of a soup, which the spider then sucks back and forth through the prey's body cavity. Bon appetit. We headed out after lunch, and barely a minute from the ranger station, we noticed something laying in the low grass. A Caiman, slowly making its way along the forest edge, heading straight towards an unsuspecting bare-throated tiger heron, standing about 10 meters ahead. Less than 2 meters from the heron, the Caiman froze and lay completely still. Everyone went quiet, not sure what we were about to witness. The heron stretched its long neck, staring carefully in its direction. It freezes and stretches its neck straight up like a reed to avoid detection while it scans for danger. But for this time, it stayed calm and walked off into the forest. No drama, just the dance they've been doing for millions of years. Esteban was constantly scanning for us and always seemed to spot wildlife before we even knew it was there, like this beautiful black-throated trogon perched in the shade. Shortly after, more spider monkeys moved through the canopy. And this time, a mother swung between the branches with a baby clinging to her back. A real jungle mothership moment. Deeper in the forest, the path suddenly opened up around a small plain wreck lying on the forest floor, completely covered in moss. It crashed in 1974. Over 50 years, the jungle have slowly been reclaiming it. It's a reminder that everything we build eventually returns to the earth.
So some of the cool things about Corcovado is definitely the option to walk here on a beach, like where there are so few people, the mix of the jungle and the Pacific, and all what that creates of wildlife here is just amazing. Here's 4 o'clock, so we have maybe an hour and a half left of sunlight on the afternoon tour. We're maybe gonna see a tapir. There have been some spottings, but yeah, let's see. It's hard to order nature, but it's truly beautiful. And we're promised some delicious dinner later in the station, so not much to complain about actually. So about the plastic situation, as you can see here, there's plastic everywhere. And this, you see over here, all this probably from single-use plastic things. And Corcovado National Park is doing a great job for trying to eliminate plastic inside the park. When we get in, they check our bags for single-use plastic. We're not allowed to bring snacks and stuff, so everything to keep it clean in here. So when we find things like this, it's probably washed up from shore somewhere else, and that's because we put so many things into the ocean. It's coming from rivers, it's coming from pollution from ships dropping things, and it ends up everywhere. We cannot control where it comes. This is an issue we had to address. Just read the news that there's more mass of plastic. There's double the amount of plastic mass in the world than living being right now. So we have to do a big effort to eliminate this kind of plastics. We just saw a tapir.
It's in rows of animals.
Stay number 2. We're gonna see the jungle wake up. This is Pura Vida.
This is the rain point.